This video is all about fertilizing seedlings. This topic can be pretty tricky because seedlings are so small and it seems like they're very delicate. So I'll be sharing some insights so that you know exactly when to start feeding your seedlings if you need to at all. Welcome to Geeky Greenhouse. My name is Calvin and we've been growing plants for over 10 years now. You can see behind me we have hundreds of seedlings that will be ready to go outside in just a few short weeks. So I have a good amount of experience in growing plants from seed indoors and when they start requiring nutrients. The first thing to consider is the soil media that you planted your seeds in. Most bag potting soils will have nutrients added in, so there's already fertilizer in that soil, which means you likely don't need to fertilize your seedlings at all. Since plants start out so small and they grow so slowly, they don't require a ton of nutrients. They won't be soaking them up quickly like a larger plant would, so that relatively small amount of nutrition in your seed cells or in your 4-inch pots will likely be enough to carry the plant to the point of transplanting outdoors. To know if your potting soil does have nutrients, check on the back of the bag. Usually you'll see a nutrient analysis telling you how much nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are guaranteed to be in that soil, along with any other amendments that were added. So if you see any nutrients back there, chances are that you don't need to fertilize at all, and I wouldn't worry about it until you get your plants outside and into containers or into the ground. But again, this video is focused on seedlings and when to start fertilizing them. However, not all soils do have nutrients. There is something called seed starter mix, which I do recommend for some types of seeds, especially smaller seeds like herbs or lettuce, where the larger particles that you may find in normal potting soil can get in the way. And many seed starter mixes don't have any nutrition added at all, so that's where you may need to come in and supplement that. So for fertilizing seedlings, the question is, when should you start fertilizing them? And there's a really simple answer for this, regardless of what it is you're growing. Every seed contains some level of nutrients for that plant to get started growing. This is why you can start any seed on a damp paper towel and it will actually germinate and grow leaves without any nutrients. The first leaves that emerge from your plants are called cotyledons, which you're seeing here. These are different from the natural true leaves that form on the plant. They have a different appearance from the leaves that you'll see on your plants throughout the season. True leaves are actually the second set of leaves to form after the cotyledons. They'll form usually growing in the opposite direction of the cotyledons, and they have a different appearance altogether. And as it turns out, the nutrients that are contained in a seed have just enough to get the plant to this point where it has cotyledons, but not much far beyond that. So if your soil doesn't have any added nutrients, you'll need to start fertilizing your seedlings once you start seeing those true leaves forming. Like I said, this applies to any type of plant. I have some lettuce seedlings here, which are just starting to form their cotyledons. They're much smaller than these peppers and these flowers here, so you'll have to look pretty closely to see when those true leaves are starting to form. So now that we know when to start fertilizing, what should you actually use to fertilize your seedlings and how much should you fertilize? That's what I want to talk about next, and you have quite a few options. I'll start by talking about the most important thing about any fertilizer, which is the NPK rating. On any fertilizer that you buy, you'll see 3 numbers with dashes between them on the front of the container, which indicate how much nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium are contained in that fertilizer. These pretty much equal the percentage of those nutrients by weight that are contained in the fertilizer, so the higher the number, the more concentrated that nutrient is in the fertilizer. To keep this as simple as possible, you want to focus on the ratio of these nutrients, with the ideal ratio being somewhere around 3-1-2. So 3% nitrogen, 1% phosphate, and 2% potassium. It doesn't have to be a 3-1-2. It could be a 6-2-4, which is the same ratio, but double the concentration. And it doesn't have to be perfectly 3-1-2. You could have maybe a 3-1-3 or a 3-2-3. The most important thing is that the nitrogen is the highest number and that you don't have too much potassium or phosphate to follow it up. The one I'm holding here just happens to be a perfect 3-1-2 ratio. It's actually a 9-3-6, but again, that's the same ratio of nutrients. This one's a little bit different. It has an 11-3-8 ratio of nutrients. Again, it's not perfect, but there is more nitrogen and the potassium is somewhere in between. And if you can't find something with that nice ratio, an even ratio can work. It's not really recommended because plants don't use nutrients in even amounts. For example, this is a 4-4-4 granular fertilizer. Plants generally do use more nitrogen than they do phosphate and potassium, but if you can't find anything else, this will do. Since you're growing in something that's basically not real soil, this is peat moss. A lot of people grow in coco coir. These are not real living soils, so you need to provide everything that the plants need to grow, which is why a nice all-purpose fertilizer that contains macronutrients as well as micronutrients is pretty important. So check on the container for other nutrients that are added. For example, this Miracle Gro Organics has calcium, copper, iron, manganese, and zinc, as well as nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. Now I want to discuss the different types of fertilizer. There are many on the market. It can be pretty overwhelming, but I want to first differentiate between liquid nutrients and granular. My preference for seedlings is to fertilize with liquid nutrients, or at least a nutrient that is water soluble, because it's immediately available to your plants. They're also very easy to apply. You put the recommended amount in some water and you just water your plants with the nutrients. There are also organic and non-organic versions. This fish fertilizer is organic. The only potential drawback is that since it does feed your plants immediately, there is a chance of over-fertilizing. These can be pretty concentrated. 9% nitrogen is pretty strong, so a little bit goes a long way. The other option are granular or slow release fertilizers. This is an organic granular fertilizer that has sort of a chunky soil-like texture to it, and it's not dissolvable in water, which means it needs time to break down and release the nutrients that your plants actually use. For seedlings, I generally don't recommend granular fertilizers because, again, you need that slow breakdown to happen over time, and your seedlings just don't have that kind of time. They need those nutrients right away to get growing. There are non-organic slow-release fertilizers that come in pellets that do release immediately and release slowly over a long period of time. Sometimes they'll say they can feed plants for 3 or 4 months, and these can be mixed into your soil ahead of time if you don't mind using non-organic nutrients. So if you just can't decide, I'll leave a couple links down in the description with some of the fertilizers that we've seen good results from. So you have your fertilizer and your seedlings are ready to be fed. How do you fertilize seedlings? It's going to vary based on how strong your nutrients are, but generally speaking, you can just follow the instructions on the back of the fertilizer. For example, this SuperThrive requires 1 teaspoon of fertilizer per gallon of water. Mix that in thoroughly with the water and just water your seedlings. Previously, I've recommended using a half strength or even quarter strength nutrients early on, and you can still try that. Less is more when it comes to fertilizer. Over-fertilizing is certainly worse than under-fertilizing, so if you want to be cautious, you can start with a lower concentration and work your way up over time as the plants grow. How often to fertilize is another important point. I recommend at least fertilizing once per week while your plants are indoors and growing. In the first few weeks of growth, ideally under grow lights, your plants should have nice dark green foliage, and you should see many more leaves forming on the seedlings over time. There are some important things to look out for after you begin fertilizing. The first of which is make sure you're not over-fertilizing. If you follow the directions closely and you don't put too much of your fertilizer into your water, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about, but there are some symptoms on your plants which can indicate that you've overfed. Most notably, if your plants have too much nitrogen, you'll likely see some burning along the edges of the leaves, usually turning the leaves brown and crispy along their edges. If you notice this, stop fertilizing and water the plants thoroughly with normal water, which will flush out some of that nitrogen and hopefully get the plants back on track. Another normal thing that you might notice after you start fertilizing is algae growth on the surface of your soil. The surface will sort of turn a greenish color like what happens on lakes in the summer. This is totally normal because there are nutrients throughout the entirety of the soil, including on the surface, and you have your plants growing under grow lights or in a bright location. That algae is pretty common to see forming, and it shouldn't harm your actual plants. On the flip side of it, if you're not fertilizing enough, you might notice your plants growing tall and leggy without a very strong stem, and the color of the leaves may be more pale green or even yellow if you're not fertilizing quite enough. After your seedlings have grown to a point where they can be up-potted into normal potting soil, which contains nutrients, you can slow down or even stop fertilizing for a few weeks while the plant uses the nutrients that are in the soil. And from here forward, fertilizing definitely depends on how you're growing. If you're growing in containers, you'll definitely need to keep feeding your plants with fertilizer. If you're growing directly in the ground, it's a different story altogether. You'll likely want to get a soil test to know what nutrients are needed in that soil. Speaking of which, we have a video all about getting a soil test. It's a lot easier than you might think, and the results can be really exciting to get back and make a huge difference in your in-ground beds or even in your raised beds. Check that video out in the description below. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks for watching Geeky Greenhouse, and I'll see you next time.